G'day, g'day, g'day. I'm Sam.
And I'm Paul.
And we're from Bendigo Vinyl, and we're doing our first annual Triple J Hottest 100 recap of the top 100 songs in Australia that were counted down by Triple J on Saturday, Paul.
Yes, they were. Look, it was it's a big day. It's always a big day in Australia. We've got some thoughts. I think we're going to run through our highlights, some of our lowlights, and some thoughts on what we should hope to expect next year. I think, Sam, is that what we're doing?
I think, let's do that. Let's what do we want to see a little bit more of, or maybe more to the point, a little less of next year. But yeah, stay tuned for that.
I might just throw in a little disclaimer here as well that, Sam and I obviously talk, like we talk all the time, not just prior to this.
Our partners say too often we talk.
Yes, some would say too often. But we don't always agree. So we haven't said exactly what we're going to say on this yet to each other. We don't know what's going to happen. I've got a rough idea, and we might disagree. We might agree, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So stay tuned if you want an argument. And you might be disappointed, or you might not be.
We'll see. We'll see. But
the shittest teaser.
What we're first going to do, though, is have a chat about how our votes did. So
yes,
we voted. Here are my votes. They're up on the screen now. Here are polls.
Sorry, Sam, you're breaking up.
Paul, did you remember to vote? Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no, Paul.
So you warned me. You were like, Paul, you've got a month to vote. Remember to put your votes in. I was like, yeah, I'll do it like just before it shuts. That's my style. And then you gave me like a 24-hour warning. And then I had a picnic.
I forwarded an email to you because Triple J sent out an email to people that might be interested in voting in this countdown. You only have 24 hours to get your votes in. I was like, that's nice for sending me an email. They know I voted 2 hours after it started. So my votes are in. But what I will do is they must know about Poll. So I'll forward that email to Poll.
Yeah. And then maybe 6 hours before it shuts, I was at a picnic and we spoke about the Hottest 100. We spoke about our votes, or potential votes as they might have been in my case. And then I got home and didn't put them in. So I'm sorry. I'm going to be that guy that's doing a Hottest 100 wrap up that's just all like, oh, should have been higher. But it could have been if I'd voted for it.
Well,
it's fine.
Bendigo Vinyl disclaimer obviously is all votes count and your vote is important and you should vote. I voted for things. 7 of my votes didn't count. 3 of them, though, did make the Hottest 100 countdown. Billie Eilish's Your Power, Rivers to Souls, On My Knees, and Halsey's I'm Not a Woman, I'm a God all managed to make the list, which is actually pretty good given the random stuff that I had up on my list, as you can probably see again. On the screen. A lot of stuff that doesn't get played by Triple J on my list typically, but they were still my favorite songs of the year. Like, Paul, we own a vinyl store, so we listen to a lot of music, and a lot of the music that we listen to isn't necessarily stuff that's on a Triple J playlist, which inevitably is how some of these Hottest 100s turn out. They end up looking a lot like the Triple J's playlist of the year, doesn't it?
Yeah, look, there's definitely a Triple J lens on it, which is I'm okay with. Like, it is Triple J's Hottest 100, and yeah, it does get billed a little bit like Australia's 100 favorite songs or whatever. But I'm at peace with that. I've come to terms with that. But we do listen to a lot of music, and sometimes those left field options get in because enough other people like them who also listen to Triple J, and maybe it helps Triple J adjust it. Like, maybe they need to play more Noga eras. Like, everyone should be playing more Noga. I feel like we're like Bendigo Vinyl / the Noga eras fan club. It was a really good album.
That is definitely us. But that's always going to be our overall impression, I think, of the Triple J Hottest 100 is that it's like a Triple J Instagram filter on the whole thing. And that's always going to be tough to shake. But one thing that you can do is that they've made it a little bit easier. Previously, you could only vote for the things that they'd loaded into their kind of voting machine. But now what you can do is take your Spotify or your Apple Music playlist and you can import it. So what I did this year, Paul, was I have a top 10 rolling I've started my 2022 one already as well. Bonobo's on it. He's definitely making my end of 2022 top 10.
Confident.
Very confident. So I have a rolling playlist, and it's a one in, one out system. So if I put another track in and it tips over the top 10, I got to kick one of these other ones out. So by the end of the year, I've got my 10 tracks, hit the import button on Triple J, it goes straight in. That's my hottest 100, which has led to only 3 of my tracks making the list. But you know what? That's a lot better than none of Paul's tracks making the list. Because he didn't vote for them. But there, as always with these things, Paul, there are some surprises and there are some snubs.
Yeah.
There are 2 S's for today. What was some surprises and snubs for you this year?
I'll give it to you real quick. So, biggest snub for me was actually any of the tracks from Bo Burnham's Inside not being on there. Absolute fucking travesty, Sam.
Yeah.
I think they're very underappreciated as bits of music. If they were just released as an album, not as a comedy special, they would have been on there. Yeah. I think they should be getting airplay. And I know that did the Phoebe Bridgers cover that Funny Feeling?
Yeah, made the hottest 200. Yeah, about 135, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, is that Phoebe Bridgers like legitimizing Bo Burnham comedy music?
I think maybe.
I don't know. Like, yeah, it's just that indie stamp of approval that Phoebe Bridgers has. It's hers. She's the custodian of the stamp of approval.
Yeah,
for indie artists at the moment. But yeah, look, I think I would have voted for FaceTime with my mom tonight. Yeah, that's the name of the song.
And then that would have been at least 2 votes for it because I also voted for that song.
Hold her iPhone 5 no further than 6 inches from her face. Yeah, I'm a FaceTime with my mom tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, the great track should have been in. If you've not watched the special yet, do that. Or if not, just put the tracks on. It's really good. You can get it on vinyl. Not yet at Bendigo Vinyl, but we'll get some copies in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my snub. I thought it was phenomenal, potentially the best music of the year, or in the top 10 best things of the year. Something that surprised me was how high Stay was by Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber.
Nobody else as good as you. I need you to stay, yeah.
I get that Kid Laroi's Aussie and he's a mega success now.
Yep.
But I'm surprised with the Justin Bieber collab, and that's the song, and that's the one that Triple J listeners are picking. That just surprised me. In the truest sense, I just didn't think. I thought it'd be on there because it's a very popular song, but it's very commercial radio.
Yep. Yeah, because it was played on a lot of those other radio stations, and it's really cool for us, I guess, to see that's the highest ever charting Indigenous act on the Hottest 100, and that's really awesome to see. But the Bieber collaboration thing kind of hangs over it, and I was wondering, would it hurt its voting chances? Because like you said, would a Triple J listener vote for a Bieber infused song? Apparently so. Apparently a lot of them will, and it made number 2. But again, it says something potentially, Paul, about the lines blurring between what's played on commercial radio and what's played on Triple J. They used to be a lot further apart, and Triple J would play songs years before those songs would end up getting played anywhere else. But you can hear Doja Cat on both, and you can hear Nicki Minaj on both, and Cardi, and you can hear Kanye on both. You can hear Kid Laroi and Drake on both, and The Weeknd definitely. So there's a lot of artists that are mainstays of Triple J radio that are also, commercial
mainstays
radio.
of the mainstream.
Yeah.
And I will throw a caveat in there that as if we're talking about that as a point of what Triple J does, and I think one of the good things that Triple J does is have their unearthed playlists and those artists that they get to push through, and they were started to try and promote that stuff. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that mainstream music's mixing with that, because I don't think they should be separate. It's just music.
Yeah,
people like good music. You're allowed to like both, you're allowed to like Taylor Swift and Tool. And you're allowed to like both those things at the same time. That's okay. So I think it's good that things are mixing, but it still surprises me because there does seem to be some odd choices that, yeah, Justin Bieber's fine, but Taylor Swift's not, or, you know,
Yeah.
pick some other artists that they play or don't play and do that same sentence with them. But yeah, that's how I feel about that, Sam.
That's your surprise and your snub. My surprise and snub, I'm going to end with the surprise because it's a little bit more fun. So I'm going to do the snubs first. Amy Shark and Tones and I and Tash Sultana all released music relatively recently in the 2021 sphere. Amy Shark's the big one for me that kind of really leaps out as a snub. Tones and I had the one track in off her Welcome to the Madhouse album in the 70s, which was, you know, pretty low given how well she performed with Dance Monkey a couple of years ago. But Amy Shark didn't have anything in the Hottest 100, and this is somebody that with Adore and Just Tell 'Em All I Said Hi off her Love Monster album had huge Hottest 100 chart success. Cry Forever had some big hits off it as well, or things that at least got a lot of Triple J airplay, things like Baby Steps.
Here I get in gear to pull my life together. It's always a team effort. Baby steps, baby steps.
And did not make it anywhere, didn't even sniff the Hottest 100. She had one track in the Hottest 200 that wasn't even Baby Steps. It was a different track. But that really took me by surprise that she didn't chart very highly.
Yeah.
I think it says maybe potentially something about the Triple J audience maybe not getting behind always the things that are quite heavily played on the radio station. Sometimes the radio station doesn't really get to decide what resonates with people, Paul.
Yeah, it is really interesting, particularly as you said, like I mentioned, being surprised at Justin Bieber heavy track being number 2, having these things you would sort of go, oh yeah, Triple J people listen to Tones and I, Triple J people listen to. I'm speaking like they're aliens. Like I listen to Triple J, it's fine. Like, you know, we listen to these types of this type of music. I wonder if this was a normal year and we were able to have gigs and artists were able to perform. I wonder if our Hottest 100 would be different. That's purely hypothetical, but it'd be interesting. Let us know, like, if you were able to go to that Amy Shark gig or that whoever gig, do you reckon there's a chance you could have voted for their song when you didn't, or maybe put it higher, or, you know, it's an interesting thought because there's definitely a connection you get with artists and songs live that you don't get just listening, hearing them on a radio. I can think of a lot of songs that I've gone, oh, that's a bit average, and then heard it live and gone, not great.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I reckon that's an excellent point, Paul. And I think, somebody like Amy Shark that, you know, has quite a popular touring presence. Yeah, if she was able to play some of those songs like Baby Steps in front of people, potentially while they're going through the same things that the character in the song's going through, that these things would resonate a lot more than, you know, potentially you're on TikTok because you're at home and isolated. And Doja Cat comes on 9 times and then you convince yourself you really like that song. Or you do. I really did like Planet Woman. I thought it was an excellent album this year. She just happened to have a lot of entries in the Hottest 100. But I think my biggest surprise though, Paul, and it was a really pleasant surprise, was how well the Lime Cordial Idris Elba EP Cordielba performed. They had 2 songs in the top 50. Just really, really excellent tracks. We didn't know we needed this. We didn't know we needed one of the biggest actors in the world with 2 just Aussie brothers that just want to make fun music. Excellent. Really fun songs, really, really great. And I think really helped a lot of Aussies and obviously and people around the world who were doing it tough in 2021. These songs really resonated with them because they made them feel better and they voted them pretty high in the countdown.
All I'm going to say on that is an expletive warning. The first time I heard Apple Crumble on the radio and was just like, what the fuck is this? And like, I had a great time. Love it. Love Lime Cordial. And this collaboration just came out of nowhere. And I'm for it. I'm all for it. And I'm so glad there's so many other people for it as well.
Yeah.
Because, what fun. So much fun.
Yeah, it was awesome to hear those ones. come up on the Hottest 100 as they were counting it down on the Saturday. But, Paul, I think it's probably time that we literally talk about the elephant in the room, which is the number one song that won was a Triple J Leica version by the Wiggles of the Tame Impala track from a decade ago, Elephant, off their second album, Lonerism.
Well, it feels like an elephant shaking his big red trunk for the hell of it.
Now, it was a cover where the musicality was very children's performers. It was a little out of time. It might have been a little bit out of tune. There was a little bit in the middle where they just sung Fruit Salad inexplicably. But this was the song that the most amount of Australians and Triple J listeners voted for, and that's how number ones work. When you have the most amount of votes, you get there. And the Wiggles are such a funny thing for me, Paul, because they're so unassailable as a group. They're such an important part of the Australian culture. I saw them when I was 2 or 3 years old. My nephew saw them last year at about the same age, 20 years apart, 30 years apart nearly. These are just absolute monsters in a good way, like furry monsters of the Australian musical landscape for so many of us. We felt like we needed this in 2021 and a lot of people voted for it. But I think, Paul, potentially it raises a larger issue about whether Leica versions should be eligible to be voted for. These are cover versions, and potentially they're knocking out of the running original music written by original artists that really could use the pop of being able to say, we were in a Hottest 100 countdown.
Yeah. Look, I think you've got a point, and I was very concerned about this because I know we had a chat pretty much minutes after number one was announced and you were fuming. And I get it. Am I surprised that they won number one? No.
No, me neither.
When it came out, everybody I know go, you see this? This is great.
And
this
share
is
the
fantastic.
YouTube video. Yeah.
But you are right. I think the thing that makes me feel a bit odd is that there's Leica versions taking away from original music, which, and we've mentioned a few times in this episode that there's this sort of like Triple J lens, or this is a Triple J type thing.
Yep.
Not putting original new music first is a very un-Triple J thing.
Yeah.
So this is obviously completely unintentional. And I think only now that, we've had a Leica version number one, and that's potentially the best version of it I could imagine, where it's like a little Wiggles throwback that was just a funny little thing.
Yeah.
Like that I'm okay with. If Spacey Jane's Here Comes the Sun got number one above some of their other this year released music, I would have been fuming.
Yeah.
Because their other music deserved, like, I can't even remember what song they got number 3, but they got a song at number 3 and I was really proud of them for that.
Yep.
If that had been Here Comes the Sun, I'd have been devastated.
Yeah.
Because I think two ways people use the Hottest 100 is, like Sam, you said, you've got a playlist running all year and then votes open and you submit that playlist and you're like, here's what I think. Let's see if it, gets where it goes. And then how I've used the Hottest 100 quite a lot is gone, I don't listen to a lot of radio.
No.
So when the Hottest 100 comes out, I'll listen to it and go, oh shit, that was good. I'll add that. Oh, that was good. I'll add that.
Yep.
And when it's Leica versions, instead, like there's a couple of tracks I've missed out on, or people have missed out on, because there's been Leica versions in there, Sam.
Yeah, 100%. Like, there's the tracks that went 200 to 200 and 197 to 100. I was counting the wrong way. The tracks that went from 101 to 105, because here's the thing. The track that came in at 104 was a Time After Time Leica version by 111. But Holiday by Confidence Man, previous winner. Henny and Reefer by Chillin' It. Time I Love to Waste by Maya, and Pride is the Devil by J. Cole, The Departed. No, J. Cole isn't. No, I was getting him mixed up with Juice
That's a
WRLD.
different. That I think that's the second time you've been like R.I.P. and I've been like, they're not dead.
I'm just trying to kill these awesome artists.
You're thinking of that other guy with this really similar name.
Yes, I think because we have them next to each other at the store, like because they're like the same genre. Names are very close together. So Juice WRLD's alive apparently, and J. Cole's dead. It's the opposite way around. Anyway, J. Cole would have made it in if we didn't have the 4 Leica versions that were included. And I think the Wiggles one is different enough, but the other 3 were all pretty much note for note versions of those songs. And I think what it is it's a vote of no confidence in the original music of this year when you'd rather hear an impression of a Beatles song or an impression of a Pink Floyd song more than you would a piece of original music. It's like, well, then it's kind of like that meme, like, tell me you don't listen to new music without telling me you listen to new music. And it's like 10 Leica version votes on the Triple J voting pack. And it's a little bit, I don't love it. I don't like it. I posted a bunch of memes on the Bendigo Vinyl Instagram. You know, the guy that's like changed my mind. It was like a hottest 100 vote for a Leica version is a waste of a vote. I feel very strongly about that poll. The Wiggles... The Wiggles are such a gorgeous Australian band that it's hard for me to. But you said something before, like, do we hate the play or do we hate the game? I dislike the game. I don't think Leica version should be eligible. And now that it's been won and they've Triple J have created a monster now. This is their own thing that they've set up, and now it's won the whole countdown. This is the perfect time to stop it. They're no longer eligible. You have to vote for new original music. A list from 2021 is songs from 2021.
Look, I'm on board with this.
Yes. No,
I like a version as a thing, as a concept.
Yep.
It gives people its accessibility to some bands that people might not have heard before. So you come on, you do your original song, you do the cover.
Yep.
People listen to the cover and go, oh, I really like that. I'll listen to that band's other stuff. That's probably the intention behind like a version.
Yeah.
It's not the intention for it to clog up a hottest 100. But Sam, okay, so I knew you were fuming, and I did look up like, oh, who's missed out? Like, what big things? Because like getting in the top 100 is a huge thing for artists, particularly new artists, that they can, put that in their CV and everybody in Australia basically is listening to you because everyone listens to Triple J on that day.
Especially on the the front end of the countdown, like people tune in for the top 25 religiously. So if you're like a top 20, top 10 song.
That's it. So given that, if you're a top 10 song, it's life-changing.
Yeah.
The biggest travesty of this whole like a version thing is that if Wiggles weren't eligible, if they couldn't have had number 1, other than Kid Laroi getting number 1 and being the first Indigenous person to get number 1,
which would have been awesome.
Than that, we've missed out on at number 10. Have you checked your bumhole?
I know it's my time, and all heads turn as I stand and say, Vicar, have you checked your butthole? Skip, butthole.
Which would have just been. Can you imagine the big build up to the top 10?
Yep, we're now in the top 10. Have you checked your butthole?
Have you checked your butthole?
Skid it, butthole.
It's so good. It's phenomenal.
Love Tom Cardy, and I would have loved that for him. He wrote an original piece of music. Yes, it was comedy music that they played nonstop on Triple J, but it was still original music, and he released it, and that was excellent.
Absolutely no problem with that.
Yeah, no problem at all. But, we're just two guys that run a record store. What do you guys think? And let us know in the comments below. Do you vote for Leica versions? Do you have a really good argument for why they should still be allowed? Because I guess if I was to play devil's advocate, if that Wiggles thing got you through some dark times, you would want that to be recognized as your number 1 song of the year. That's fine. Explain it to me so that I can understand and agree with you. Because currently I just don't think that they should be included. We can share it as a YouTube clip. We don't have to have it in our hottest 100 countdowns. But let us know, comment, like, subscribe, and also, Paul, we have a bunch of these albums on vinyl from artists that popped up in the hottest 100 countdown. I did a prediction video right before the hottest 100 drop poll I was like convinced, and I had Amy Shark's Love Monster up. None of those made it. I had Radiohead's Kid A Amnesia re-release that had Follow Me Around on it. That didn't make it. I had Jungle Up, that made it, but it was like 88. And I had Holly Holly's Hello My Beautiful World, that made it, but they were both gone by the time we got to number 85. So I did awful predictions, but we do have a lot of vinyl that did make the list. So check that out on bendigovinyl.com.au.
Yep. Yeah, look, no, you've said it best, but yeah, definitely let us know what you think. Highlights, lowlights, what missed out.
Yeah, what were your
And
snubs?
do you think the Leica versions should be there? Because here's the thing, like Sam and I sort of agreed on that, but we're okay with people not agreeing on music. As I said before, you should be able to like Taylor Swift and Tool.
Yes.
You should be able to like, yeah.
I'm a great example of
Metallica
someone that
and
does
Tones
do
and
that. I love Taylor and I love Tool.
Yeah, phenomenal. I did look. I'm gonna be that really annoying old guy, but I listened to the top hottest 100 of 2001 on Double J the day after, and yeah, so there was some Schism on there. There's some Ben
so
Folds
good.
on there. It was a fantastic time. To be fair, there's also some trash. Like I'm not one of those guys that was like, oh my goodness, music back when I was in high school was better. It wasn't.
No.
Like there was the same amount of good shit and bad shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like it, that's completely
That's
cool.
what's important.
So tell us why you like it, because
Yeah.
then we'll probably like it too. And if we haven't listened to it, we will 100% give it a listen. We did say before that, we listen to a lot of music that might not get played in Triple J. That wasn't a brag. Sam particularly, I think last year you were like, oh, I'm going to listen to like 100 albums, and you were dumb by like the 25th of January or something. It was ridiculous. Like it was insane. So yeah, 100%. Like we will, if you put something in the comments that you think we should listen to, maybe do a review or have a chat about, we will 100% listen to it. But yeah.
Yeah. But until then, and until you comment, we will see you when you flip the side. Bye.